There are definitely risks remaining in Myanmar, so it's a developing environment, and for example, in terms of dealing with the civil service, it can still be quite time consuming. Sometimes you will see that civil servants are nervous about making decisions, which is totally understandable if you think that they're coming out of essentially 5 decades of military rule, during which time if you made a decision you could get in big trouble. So there's a long-standing history of trying to avoid making decisions, and that won't be overcome overnight. Having said that, there are big moves afoot to try and empower and upgrade the civil service, and all of those I think will bear fruits in the next few years. Another deeply embedded problem historically has been corruption. Now, the new government has obviously taken a very strong stance on corruption, and there's been a very strong tone from the top in terms of Aung San Suu Kyi speaking out very strongly against corruption, and you will see at most of the government ministries now that there are notices there advising you that you cannot give gifts and should not give gifts. Now, obviously, when you've had corruption be endemic for decades, you won't you won't get rid of it overnight. So that remains an issue, and I think it will over time be reduced, and I think it's already being reduced now, but it will take time. So obviously for any major multinational, there's just no question you cannot under any circumstances be paying bribes, and so you need to be very alert as you go into the country and very cautious about that. Now, having said that, those are a couple of the risks, but in terms of the opportunity, it is massive. You've got a large country, geographically large, very well located bordering China and India and Thailand and other ASEAN countries, so it can serve as a gateway between those powerhouses. And you also have a large population, between 50 and 60 million. Obviously different figures are given, but it's a large number, and it's a population that has been deprived of many of the things that we take for granted, and many of these people are now anxious to catch up. And the country also has is very rich in natural resources, and that means that many people actually can afford to pay for products. So you can see there's a burgeoning middle class. Obviously, it's now trite to say that Yangon is gridlocked with traffic jams, and that's because people are buying cars and can afford to buy cars. There's a lot of opportunity there, but Myanmar is not an easy place, and I don't think anyone would expect that it should be. Any developing jurisdiction has some obstacles and difficulties. And I think the key to success in Myanmar is taking a long-term view, understanding the country well, investing in your workforce, and one of the things that's also said is it's very hard to recruit highly skilled labour, and to retain that labour is increasingly difficult. But for the long-term investor who is able to do that, to build good relationships, to recruit and train a strong workforce, and to really understand the country, then I think the opportunities are great and outweigh the risks.